How's my Summit Superstar Builder Group doing? So how many people are in the Builder Group? Raise your hand. Right on. And how many people are not? Well, some of you are in class. So one of the biggest things that Adam and I get asked is people are stumped a little bit or nervous or fearful about what to do on a builder call. So that's what this class is about. And we have a live builder that we're going to practice on and role play with. So just housekeeping, this is a safe environment that we're all going to learn. So, no judging, no critiques. If we give feedback, it's going to be so we can help make you better. And what an opportunity to get feedback from a live builder. I mean, I just, in my career, I would have killed for this kind of opportunity. So this is Christine from Homes by Town. I'll give you her background. But thank you in advance, Christine, for coming and helping us learn how to be better.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
So most people get stuck on this because it's a fear thing. So they don't do it every day, so it makes them feel uncomfortable. And sometimes builders can be a lot of different personalities. They can be very rough. If those of you locally, if you ever sat in front of Harry Elliott, he's a rough customer because he doesn't give you anything back. Folds his hands, like that, and you're like, ugh. So the better you are at what you do, the better you're going to be in front of the builder. Okay? So I would like just to request, when you're thinking about going on a builder call, go from fear to fearless. And kind of how I do that for me is I say, what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the worst thing that can happen to me right now? You're not going to die from it, and you're just going to get better. And it's going to get, the more you do a call, and those of you who've done a lot of calls, the better you get at it. That's about as simple as I can do. I don't want to make this real complicated because it's not. We make it complicated in our mind. So most of you who've been through training know that we spend a lot of time on your unique talents and you being able to say that to a client. You're definitely going to bring that today. Now, your 30-second commercial should have got you this appointment, okay? And the value props that we talked about, each one of you are different, will come up today probably. Your tagline and your bio are all reinforcing those unique talents that we talk about in training. All of that has to be solid now, because there will be a time in this conversation where you may use all of that. But it got you here. It got you this appointment. So all of this you have to know up front to be really, really good. And we've all went over that already. If you totally get lost, if you totally forget who you are and what you're good at, go back to people, process, and products. So if a builder said, so what do you bring? If you go blank, think of the 3 Ps. People, process, and products. What will happen is this will get you into talking about your team, yourself, your processes for builder, all the little nuances that we do for builders, and our products for builders. So if all else fails, think of those 3 Ps, because sometimes you do go blank and you forget your tagline, you forget your props, Go with this. I'll leave this up for you just in case, because you're going to be doing it in front of an audience. So, when you're in a builder appointment, I like to use acronyms for my sales folks, because when you're in sales mode, it's easy to forget where you're at. So Todd calls this a 2-step close. I call it half. If you do this, you're halfway to getting their business, okay? So the first is to honor, and it's like an icebreaker. So getting to know Christine. Second is to ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. Third is to listen to her answers and take notes. And fourth is to follow up and get that second appointment so you can close her. And I like to practice an 80-20 rule. That means she's talking 80%, you're talking 20. How do we get her to talk 80% and you to talk 20? What's an open-ended question?
Tell me about yourself.
Can you say that louder?
Tell me about yourself.
Correct. So the best way to do an open-ended question, if you get stuck, is use tell me about first. Tell me about your sales. Tell me about your salespeople. Tell me about your biggest angst with the lender. Those kind of questions will get her talking, but you have to phrase it like that. Okay, so that's the easiest way. Just remember tell me about, and you'll get her talking. So 80-20, the half, I can leave this up too if it'll help you when you're in working mode. So you really need to know your company, your products, your team. You need to know this stuff. So we just got out of a session and Chris Ringrose gave us a lot of numbers. So how many employees do we have here at Summit? Right. You want to remember that, all those little details that she was giving us, how much we closed in volume, how many states we're in, because you're going to have to rattle that off pretty quickly to a builder who wants to know your size and the breadth that you can cover them across the nation. So make sure you know this stuff before the call. Bring value. Does anybody know what I mean by this? What's an example of value?
How you can help improve their business.
Okay.
Help them sell more houses.
How's that? Go deeper.
How your service can help them sell more houses.
So Doug, what do you do to help them sell more houses?
I call the lead card.
Okay. So calling on a reg card for them, because builders hate the fact that their agents don't. So helping those agents, Alicia gets sometimes five deals extra a month for JMC by calling on JMC's reg cards. And she gives that example when she is in front of a builder. That's impressive. So calling on reg cards, what's another way we bring value?
Learn about their upgrades, so you can try to help them sell more upgrades and things of that nature.
That's a great idea. Great idea. Anybody else?
Low inventory, you can walk your realtor and your client in.
Perfect. Anybody else?
They speak in credit.
Yep.
Follow up on referrals, within 2 hours, things like that.
So speed. So this gives you, each one of you do something different. Not everybody fixes credit, but whatever you do, make sure you bring that. That's what the builder's going to be interested in. Otherwise, you're just like everybody else, right? The only thing that makes us different from every other lender, because everybody's got about the same products and the same price, is what you bring value-wise. And just remember, it's not about you, it's about her. Your job is to figure out her pain, and give it to her. So whatever she needs, it isn't about the products you have. You should not sit down and start going, we have this, this, and this, and this. She might not be interested in that. Through questioning, you figure out her pain, and you sell it to her. And it's the same for her people. Her people have to figure out the buyer's pain. They want a bigger house, 4-bedroom, whatever, and sell it to them. It's that simple. We don't have to make it complicated. You don't have to remember everything we have. You just have to remember the builder stuff that we have, the extended locks, those kind of things, or what a builder will ask you about. This is our builder. I call him our target. So, Homes by Town. Christine does the hiring of lenders. She's a sales and marketing manager for Homes by Town. Her husband, Jeff Pimstein, is the president. He was an ex-BIA president and is going into the
California Housing Foundation Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame next week, right? In PCBC.
A week from today.
Yeah. So, wonderful, wonderful builder, great people. We did a proposal, Adam and I worked hard on it, and she turned us down. True story, I ain't lying. She turned us down and she went with somebody else. So we really are trying to get her business. They're in 7 states, they're a 5th generation builder, and they have 25 communities and growing. Now, one of the things you should do before a builder call is do your homework and know this stuff about this builder before you go. And one way to do homework is go talk to agents. Agents will give you all kinds of data before you go meet with the builder. So if a pain point is the current lender's messing up or taking 5 days for approvals, if that's the current pain, an agent will tell you that lickety-split, so that when you go talk to Christine, you already know that and you're able to say, we can turn it around in 24 hours. Our approvals come out in 24 hours, and she's gonna go, huh? You know, so doing your homework is super, super important. This is a little homework on them. I'll let you figure out the rest through talking with her. So let me leave up. I think I'm going to leave up the half just to keep you on track when you're up here, because it can be a little nerve-wracking. We're going to jump into it because I know there's quite a few people in here who want to practice and be better at what they do. So
I was just gonna ask, is there any way we could get like a sense of what you're thinking, you know, right before the meeting?
You mean like right now?
Well, no,
Or-
in a meeting scenario, yeah. What's going through your head?
Mostly I want to hear what you have to say, how you're going to differentiate yourself from all the other lenders who have pretty much the same programs.
is that on? Can
This,
everybody
can you hear
her?
me?
Okay.
Okay.
So I just want to make
We
sure
want to
that
move
it's
this
working.
up.
Yeah, it's on. I can hear it. Doug?
Is that better?
Much better.
Okay.
We have some background on, like, the questions you would be gathering from the agents, like, if there's somebody that keeps a large list and that has a couple approved lenders on it, or if there's somebody that uses one preferred lender.
Oh, they have 2 preferred lenders, that's right.
We have 2 active communities in town currently, and we have one different lender for each of those communities, but we have a backup lender for both, although we haven't had to use the backup lenders.
What's the price point? What are we looking at?
Our price point is mid-3s to low 4s up at Cascade Crossing, which is just in Nevada County near Lake of the Pines. And then we just opened in March at Wild Hawk, which is in the Vineyard area. We run low 4s to the high 4s there.
Okay. The rest we can find when you come up, because it's a regular appointment where you're going to ask questions. So who wants to go first?
Chris Stahl.
Chris, come on up.
I know Chris from my resale life.
So there's a mic right there I'm going to let you use so that everybody can hear you, and just let me grab my water and get out of your way.
Do I?
30, 45 minutes, how long do I have?
Yeah.
Who would like to do, Chris?
Charlene, were you going to tell me which number to use, or I just pick one?
You pick.
Okay, I will.
Just
Keep
be
my
yourself, be comfortable.
my secret
What
objections.
she's going to
Hi,
do
Chris.
is actually give you a little
Good to see you.
feedback of how she felt you did, which is also worth knowing.
You guys
All
hear me?
right.
How about now? Better?
Yeah.
Bueller? Okay. Hi, Christine. Chris Stahl with Summit Funding. How are you? It's so good to see you again.
Hi, Chris. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. I got to tell you, I'm honored to be here with you. I know your reputation, you and your husband. You've been around forever. I hear a lot of good things. You guys are literally 2 of the most professional people that I know.
Wow.
Especially you, just because we've had the chance to work together in the past. So I'm just very excited to be here.
Thank you.
So I got a question. When it comes to, working with the lender in your subdivisions, what's the most important thing to you?
I think the most important thing for us at Homes by Town is how our team fits together. The skill set is something you can find pretty easily across the board. But the personality, the determination, the being able to adapt to our buyers and establish good, solid relationships with all of them, regardless of personality or any kind of other objections you might get from them.
Absolutely. Wow, that's great. And why is that so important to you?
At Homes by Town, we want to be different. We don't want to be just like any other builder. Real estate has a reputation where people don't necessarily trust us all the time.
Right.
So we're trying to change that in our community so that people go away from the experience feeling like that was the best decision they ever made.
Wow.
And our lender is as important on the team as anybody else.
Wow, that's great. And you have a current lender now, correct?
Yes.
If you could improve on one thing that your lender's doing right now, what's the one thing you might want them to improve upon?
Well, I have two different lenders. So for one of them, and I'm not naming names today,
Of course not.
for one of them, it would probably be a quicker turnaround. She's just very, very cautious. The other one would probably be a little more of the adaptability so that personality match, body language was a little more on key with the buyer as opposed to the buyer having to adapt to the lender. Does that make sense?
It does, but could you kind of give me a picture of that? That's the second time you brought up adaptability. That's interesting.
I think we all have a tendency to only think about ourselves when we're talking to people. And so we're not looking for those signals. And this is where it takes unique lenders and salespeople too, because I look for this in my salespeople, where you're paying attention, you're listening to what are their objections, what are their hot points, what's their mood, what's their demeanor, and how do you need to adjust your presentation so they're comfortable.
Correct.
So if they're feeling timid, you don't want to be aggressive because that will put them even more off. So just understanding that body language and communication style a little bit.
And make them feel comfortable throughout the process.
Definitely.
It's a big deal buying a house now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's scary, all the compliance issues we have and everything we put them through. Unfortunately, it's not the best process.
That's why I'm glad you get to do that.
No.
I don't have to do that part.
Great, great. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all that. Did you have any questions for me?
Let's see. I do have a question. Tell me about your builder group. I really don't know much about what your builder group does for builders.
It's literally amazing. Are you familiar with Summit Funding?
Yes,
So they went out and
but
hired
just in the resale side.
the resale side.
primarily.
Well, what they did, honestly, they've always done builder business. It started a long time ago with Harry Elliott, and Todd Screamer, our president, was actually one of their first builder accounts. So it's gone way back. But a couple of years ago, our president, Todd, made an amazing resource, but he went out and hired one of the best icons in the industry, a lady named Shirlene. I don't know if you've met her.
Yeah, I
She's
know
right
Shirlene.
there. No, seriously, she's unbelievable. But they've started a whole division. And I've been doing builder business for a long time. And I was a little put off when they brought Shirlene and everybody on here because we had to take a class and graduate and get certified. And I'm like, hey, I'm kind of a big deal. I shouldn't have to do this, right? I was wrong. So I want you to know, I've had to do classes. I've had to role play with Shirlene. And I honestly thought I was very, very good at what I did. But until I went through their curriculum to become a certified home loan expert at Summit Funding for just their builder division, I didn't realize some of the things I was missing. And probably the most powerful that I've seen is we have a builder report that's second to none in the nation. This report has everything to keep everybody updated, the subdivision agent, the builders, the owners, the title reps. So we believe communication is a key factor to keep everybody on page. And we do that the same with the buyers. You talked about adaptability. I've found that if you keep everybody communicated all the time, when things go wrong, because they will, I'm sorry, there probably will be a builder delay. We may have some weather changes or something gets caught up. We can prepare them and set their expectations so we can still get them to a smooth closing. But other than that, it's literally a whole division. The resources we have are amazing. Any support you have or that you need from us, we can bring Shirlene back. We can bring Adam. I mean, we've got just an amazing team of builders here. It's definitely not just one person.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know, Summit's a direct lender. So we are Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae direct, which means we have no investor overlays. So what happens is we get to make the process as painless as possible. I didn't say pain-free, because it's not a pain-free process, but painless as possible to help get the buyer in and keep them as comfortable as possible. I love what you said about the client being happy and reading the report, because to me, it's scary for somebody to come in and do this. So if we can, impact them as least as possible with all the regulations, I find it leads to a happier client, which leads to a smoother closing, which makes you guys look better in the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool.
Great.
Any other questions?
No, I've known you for a long time, so we have a little rapport already. But you did a good job staying on.
Well, thank you. Do you think there's a chance maybe next week we could get together? I'd love to buy you and your husband lunch.
Next week is out. I have a new granddaughter being born on Monday.
Congratulations. Wow,
And-
that's huge.
Yeah, and I have San Diego for Jeff's installation for the Hall of Fame on Tuesday.
Wow, that's huge.
So next week's out.
Maybe I could follow up with you after that when things calm down a little bit.
Maybe in about a year or so.
A year or so.
Just kidding.
That's all I got.
Things aren't going to calm down. We don't want things to calm down. But no, we could follow up. It'd be nice to have lunch.
I'd like to.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have any feedback for him?
I've known Chris for a long time. He's a true professional. He's really good at eye contact and talking to people. I've referred, in my resale life, referred people to him all the time. So maybe elaborate a little more on how the training for the builder certification relates to day-to-day business. I mean, it's great knowledge for all of you, but from the builder standpoint, it's like, how do we translate that into the sales office?
I thought you did a really nice job on the questions. And when you hit a couple points with her, I don't know if you're paying attention on her pain, her eyes kind of brightened up a little bit.
I kind of wear my emotions here.
Yeah, but builder group stuff, he did a good job. The reporting is key. I like to say it covers a lot of the nuances of builders, because I just like saying that, because there's a lot of nuances to doing builder business, and that usually will grab the builder, and then go through and do 3 things. So the status report is one. We have a dedicated executive corporate team, and we're the only lender in the nation to have a certified force. We're the only ones right now. So those would be 3 things you could pop off pretty quickly. Otherwise, I thought, how did he do on the 80-20 rule? What do you think he spoke? What was that's what I was thinking, like 50-50, right? So remember, you're engaging them. Try and keep your stuff brief. And if you're prepared and you can go boom, 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 you can get back to asking more questions. But thank you for volunteering first. That took some big brass, you know what. And thank you for doing a good job. Thank you. Who's my next victim? Micah is. Woohoo! Micah just graduated the builder group a couple weeks ago and landed a big builder right immediately. So
Awesome.
he's my guy. Okay, there you go. Good luck.
Hey, Christine, Micah, Summit Funding.
Micah,
Thanks
nice
for
to
meeting
meet
with
you.
me. So, tell me about this community a little bit. How long have you been here?
Well, Wild Talk opened in March,
Okay.
and Cascade Crossing opened 2 years ago.
Okay.
Homes by Down has been here in California since the 80s.
Wow.
We built in the late 90s, and then when the economy went the other way, we just packed up shop and, we just closed the doors, kept all of our land holdings, and waited
Okay.
until things got better.
Yeah, a lot of builders have done that. So, talk to me. How are things going now?
Gangbusters. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
crazy.
How many salespeople do you have?
I just hired 2 more, so we have a total of, 2, 4, we have 6 salespeople, 1 escrow
Wow.
coordinator.
And you manage all those guys?
I do,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Oh, how do you do it?
I don't, ask them, I might not be doing it.
That's awesome. So when I talked to you on the phone, you indicated you had a preferred lender currently, correct?
Correct.
How's that going?
Good,
Yeah?
yeah. We've actually done pretty well.
Really? Good. I love hearing that because our industry gets so many bad raps. I mean, to find a great lender it's a diamond in the rough, really. So I commend you. That's awesome. What do you love that they do for you?
The lender that we have at Cascade Crossing is, she's very, she's kind of, I call her old school because she's very into the old school techniques, talking to people on the phone, face-to-face visits. She goes to every single signing.
Wow.
Yeah, plus, whatever other business she has. And so that personal touch has really been very positive. She works extremely hard for our buyers.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then the other lender we have is, he's very dynamic. He's very up on current marketing techniques. He's really brought us to another level in terms of getting our name out there. He's really helped out with that a lot.
Awesome. And do they help you with all your communities, or just select ones, or?
He's helping us with this one at Wild Hawk, and then Morgan Ranch is the next one in Roseville.
Awesome. I
And
love
then
it.
the other gal will stay up at Cascade.
What, if you, as far as like your process goes, tell me just a little bit about like your agents write the contracts, and are those handed off, or do the agents, your salespeople, do they stay in touch like with the clients throughout the whole process? What's their level of involvement? Every builder seems like they're a little different.
Every builder's a little bit different. Having a resale background,
Yeah.
I've brought on sales agents who do everything. I've made them 100% responsible for the sales office from the minute someone walks in the door to community relations to
Wow.
builder competition, all through the contract process, options and upgrades. They're really running their own business.
I love that. Are most of them licensed real estate agents, or?
Oh, they're all licensed.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. What do you have any questions for me?
I do. I have a
One you
whole
should
list
ask.
of questions. Let's see. Well, I'm perfectly happy with the lenders we have right now, so I have no complaints. What would you tell me otherwise is that you could offer that maybe they're not?
Tell me a little bit about your turndowns. What's your percentage of fall through?
Well, let's see. The only one that's on the top of my head is Cascade Crossing.
Okay.
We've had about 60 different purchase contracts that have been written. A few have canceled.
Okay.
And about 6 of them, so 10% went with other lenders.
Okay. They went with other lenders, and as far as fall through goes, like just what were
Is
some
that
of the
what you
reasons?
mean, fall
Well, I meant
throughs?
like fall through
Like
as far as
they-
like ones that just didn't work, like for whatever reason, like they couldn't get their loan approved. You said you had some cancellations,
Oh, we've
things
had-
like that.
We've had very few that couldn't get loans approved.
Really?
Wild Hawk, we virtually we categorize our leads A through D. Thank you, Brian Buffini.
Really?
And all of our people that are writing contracts are A quality.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And we have about 20 contracts at Wild Hawk after opening in March.
Okay.
So the sales there have been really crazy. Cascade's a little different because it's geographically it's Lake of the Pines, so people have to go there because they want to be there.
Gotcha.
A little bit different, but so really very few that don't qualify.
Gotcha. You asked me why Summit. Let me just give you kind of a brief overview. We're a Fannie Freddie, Ginnie Direct. We do the same loan programs most people can do. We have very few overlays. All the down payment assistance programs. So, me personally, I haven't lost a deal in 3 years, so I have very little fall through. The other piece of it is, you mentioned your primary lender. I too am like really old fashioned. One of the things I'm implementing with another community is we're going to be doing a ribbon cutting. And people love that. They just get really excited, and that old fashioned, service. But on the flip side, I love working with salespeople, retail, builders, it doesn't matter. I've been able to integrate a lot of video concepts and help your salespeople with video emails, complete platforms, be able to do updates. I have one builder that I work with that I'll go in there once a week, and we'll actually take just a small, sometimes just an iPhone, and be like, do a side-by-side and be like, hey, how's it going? Just your granite just went in, flooring's going in next week, everything's on track. And it seems like people really respond well to that. And the other piece of it too is it keeps your salespeople engaged in the whole process. And then one thing we're going to be implementing probably in the next month or so is a photo book that will actually give them the customers at closing. So there's a lot of little touches that we can offer. And what I like to focus on is, yeah, we knock the lending out of the park. We got great communication, but we also do so many little things to make you guys shine, that you make your salespeople proud to work with you, and the tools that they need to really make things happen. Any questions?
Awesome. No, I think
All right.
that, I got to tell you, I think that's a great, you listened very well. And so you applied what I said about, cutting edge kind of things and the idea of the team and understanding what your people need into some interesting ideas.
Awesome.
Good.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah. Great.
Thanks.
Good job.
It's a pleasure.
Nice to meet you. I can see why you got a builder client.
So I love how you listen to her say old-fashioned on the one lender and more up to speed on the other lender, and you combine that into you, who has all that. Great job on that.
Very good.
Great job on the questions. Sometimes on questions, you got to be a little careful. It's good to ask permission first. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you get their buy-in, so it doesn't sound like you're bombarding them with questions. You're getting that buy-in up front. That's one thing. 2, be careful on the seller, servicer, lender, direct, Ginny, all that. She's going a little, really, not every builder knows what that is. Not every builder knows what an overlay is. So find a different way to say that. We're a direct lender, so we're able to do loans other people can't. That's just the easiest way to do it without getting too technical. Watch your acronyms. The other thing that I thought was a great opportunity, you might not know this. She might not know this either. A lot of builders don't know, when they have approved lenders, they don't know how many loans are turned down because it never makes it to Christine.
That's true.
It's turned down between the lender and the agent, right? It might not even make a reg card. The agent will call the lender and say, hey, I got these people I need you to talk to. Boom. Never going to work. Okay, bye. Move on to the next person. So bringing that up when you're with a sales manager, we'd like that opportunity to talk to those people. We'd like that opportunity to fix that credit. We'd like to be that lender for you. How can we get in there and get those cards? Like they can tell their salespeople, if you get one of those people, get them on a card, I have a lender who will call them. And she could start collecting more reg cards that way. So that's just an opportunity when somebody says, we don't have any turn downs. A lot of times they don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
True.
Adam, did you have any feedback from Micah?
My only thought is the awesome, it just kind of popped out quite a bit, so I would just watch that.
I use that a lot too, should I not?
No, it's fine for you. But I would just watch that. Okay. Other than that, I thought it was great.
Also on the half thing, as you're going through, he did such a good job going down here. Now, when you get to the appointment part, I've listened to you today, and I want to come up with a plan and come back to you with some really great ideas. To get your appointment, tell her you have some goodies for her to come back with. Kind of say, I've got some really great ideas to help you. I want to put it together in a package and see if I can get back with you. Is next week okay? Wind it up that way so she gets kind of excited about that second visit.
Gotcha.
You did such a great job, though. Thank you. Totally different style, huh, than
Yeah.
Chris? Okay, I know I got other really good people out there. Will, Jed, who's going next? Will's making rapid notes back there. So Micah's from Colorado, just so you know. Crystal, is local. Who's raising their hand to go next? Come on, Dougie. Dougie's from Nevada, Reno.
Don't be
I should call
shy.
you Doug. Doug. Come on.
Hi, I'm Doug Barker, Summit Funding.
Hi,
Nice to
Doug.
meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. I'm Christine.
Hi, Christine. You guys have a great product here. I really love the bathroom and model number 2 there. Who decorated that?
Did you go to Wild, what, model number 2? Are you talking real or are you hypothetically?
Hypothetically.
Oh, okay,
I have
great.
not seen- I have not seen your product.
Okay. Just checking. We actually, I do a lot of the work with the designers and the architects, so it's kind of a collaboration between the 3 groups.
That's great. You have great taste.
Thank you.
That's great. You have great taste.
Well, thank you.
Sorry. So, how's traffic out here these days? Are you guys seeing dozens come through the door on the weekdays, or pretty much just the weekends, or how's that going?
Well, our Cascade Crossing project has been very consistent. We really only average about probably 15 to 20 a week, but we have a pretty high close rate because people really want that location. At least those that go there want that location. At Wild Talk, it's a totally different story. We had 600 on our opening weekend, which was over 4 days, and we average probably about 75 visitors a week there.
Wow,
Yeah, it's huge.
that is huge. How many sales agents work at that project?
We have 2. We have 2 sales agents.
2 sales agents?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Are they both there on the weekends, or?
Yes, and our lender.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Does he pre-qual everybody there on the spot?
He can, yes. It depends on the traffic and how busy things are. We've made a lot of follow-up appointments, but yes, he's capable of doing that.
Awesome. Do you guys cooperate with outside brokers?
We do. We do. We have a 2.5% broker referral on our base price.
That's great. Are you seeing most of your leads, most of your sales come in through the door, or are they coming in with resale agents?
Probably about 40% have agents. About 60% of them are just people that have been watching and waiting for the community to open. Neighbors want to downsize, that kind of thing.
Awesome. Do you guys have any new projects coming up soon?
We do. We have a project in Placer County. It's 103 lots. That'll be single family, right on PFE Road. That one should open in July.
That's great. Are you guys in the market? Are you guys out buying lots? Are you guys?
We are constantly repositioning. Our builder, Jeff Pemstein, he's our division president and our land acquisition guy. The 2 of them have done an amazing job. So we actually just closed escrow on 380 lots in Winters. So we'll be building there in a couple of years.
That's great.
That's a great
beautiful
site.
area.
Oh gosh, it's a great site.
Who are you currently using as your lender?
We currently use Alpine Mortgage, although I said I wasn't going to name names. Good job. And Integrity Mortgage.
You're great. And who's first position?
Well, Integrity's at Cascade and Alpine's at Morgan Ranch and Wild Hawk.
Can I ask why you chose those lenders?
When we chose Integrity Mortgage, it was the first project coming out of the ground in 7 years for us since the recession. And we were looking for a real personal touch, someone to really nurture the buyers back into confidence in the real estate market. Really, if you remember 2013, people were just starting to feel a little more confident. So I had worked with her before, and I knew how hard she worked, and so we just brought her in on a confidence level thing, really. But she's done a great job for us. And for Alpine, as Shirlene said, we went out for proposals, and we got, I don't know, probably 15 proposals from different lenders, and shortlisted, I think, 3 of them, and then chose Alpine.
Is there anything you'd like to see her improve upon?
As I mentioned to Shirlene, the main thing for me was about relationships at the time, and had we explored it a little bit more together, and a lot of it was my fault because I was in a very big hurry to get this process done and move forward, and so I hadn't met any of the loan officers, didn't know who would be working with us, and that was kind of the thing. So, yeah, the other teams brought in all their managers and, their loan officer and all of that. So we got to build a little bit of rapport.
That's great. Does she have any fallout business? Is there any deals that aren't getting done here, or buyers that you guys are turning away?
No, we really haven't had much of a difficult time getting buyers approved and in contract. I think probably the biggest challenge we see right now is that there are a lot of contingent buyers. So they have homes to sell, which is kind of affecting, do we want to take a contingent buyer or not?
Do you require your lender to pre-qual the buyer of the person who's purchasing
The
the property
buyer's
they're coming
buyer?
after? Yes, the buyer's buyer.
We do not. No. We just we have a preferred agent that we like to have. You're talking about the contingent buyers,
Yes.
correct? No, we don't. We don't go that far into the transaction. As long as they're in contract and in escrow, then we kind of track it from there.
That's great. I'd like to come help you out. Could I meet with you next week and come back with a couple of ideas on how I could help you sell more houses?
Well, let me ask you a question first. So I really haven't heard much about what you could bring to the table and offer to us. We've talked a lot about our business, so tell me in just a couple of minutes, what would you bring to the table, and why would I have a follow-up appointment with you?
Well, I work on a big team with a couple of licensed loan officers.
Okay.
And we do that to better serve your clients' needs. And we also update and print and send out reports on a weekly basis to both the builder and to our clients. We actually touch our clients twice a week, as well as we do weekly routes. So come see your sales agents every week, sometimes with gifts, sometimes just to chat. And we are, like we said, we're a direct lender, so we have minimal overlays, so most loans that can get done, we can get done.
Great. Good. I would be interested in hearing more about your weekly visits and your client touching.
Awesome.
Well, appropriate touching.
Awesome. How does Thursday next week sound?
Thursday would be good.
Awesome. How about 10 o'clock?
Okay.
Awesome.
Very good.
Right.
You're the only one that got an appointment so far.
Thank you, Doug. Okay, so what'd you feel about Doug?
Doug, I thought you were very friendly and genuine, but I did feel like you asked too many questions. Like maybe you could have taken my answer and elaborated a little and brought it back to how that would tie into Summit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought you did a good job of asking questions. Again, ask permission. You forgot to brag yourself up, Doug. She asked you about you. You forgot to talk about the builders you already work with. You have a good history working with builders, and you forgot to brag that up, and that's important. As a team, we work with a lot of builders. It's important to say that. We turn around a lot of loans all over the country, and that's one way we break into working with a builder is coming in as a secondary lender and picking up those. It's just one way we get in there. So that's always a really good thing to mention when she's asking you. I know you're happy, but one of the things we're known for is building a relationship with you by giving you buyers you didn't have before. So don't ever forget that piece of it. When you're coming up here to role play with Christine, make sure you can make up a scenario. It doesn't have to be like a cold call. You can make up a scenario around visiting her agents or doing a loan for her, and make up something that isn't just a I'm coming here, I don't know you. Or I've worked with your agents out in the field, I've gotten 3 of your deals that your lender declined. Let's get the stories going a little deeper, because that'll be a little more fun. Adam, did you have any feedback for Doug?
I thought he did a really good job, and I liked the opening compliment. Very sincere, and just make sure if you're going to talk about one of their models, make sure you've actually been there.
Right.
And that it is open, and but I like that.
Yeah, that was good. I just want to say one more thing. You are a very sincere person, and I felt that. So I could see why you have builder clients already.
Good job. Who's next? Come on, Louise. Okay, here comes Dad.
No, I beat you to it.
Dad's gonna work you over this time.
Okay.
That's not very nice. I'm gonna work you over.
She's ours.
Test me. Go ahead.
Jed Gibson with Summit Funding Building Group.
Jed, nice to meet you too.
I guess I'm supposed to have this mic in my hand. Let's
You
get this
are.
part done.
Yes.
Hey, thanks a bunch for meeting with us today. You guys have a great reputation. I met your husband at a function and was so impressed. Congratulations on the award you guys are about ready to get. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, thanks for including me in on that.
Yeah. You were you're the one. I always tell everybody, if there's a successful man, behind them is a more successful woman. So I assume
Nice.
you might have something to do with that.
I just let him go do what he wants.
Somehow, Christine, I just met you, but I don't believe that. Listen, I just want to spend a few minutes with you and talk to you a little bit about what your needs are. Your needs are more important to me than me showing up here and kind of throwing up about lending and so on and so forth. Let me tell you a couple things that we're not. We're a little bit different than most lenders in the sense that our relationships are basically like a development company. We're developing relationships to support you, and your needs are unique to other builders that we work with. We have a national builder certification process, which means to you in the end that from one community to another, whether it's me or somebody else within our company, that service, those reports, all those things that go along with that is pretty streamlined and seamless. So you should not recognize service levels differences the way you would in a normal situation. So let me ask you a couple questions. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Nope,
And
not
can
at
I
all.
take notes?
Please.
Perfect. What is the top 2 things that you want in a lender?
The top 2 things. Success is the first thing I think of in closing the loans. That's pretty important.
Meaning close on time, close period, and close on time? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, close on time, no appraisal issues, which I know you don't have any control over, but yeah, close on time, no issues. That would be 1.
That's 1. Thank you.
And 2 would be an integrative part of our team.
So what I mentioned before is I think that's the only way we as lenders, whether it's my company or anybody else, bring value to you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fair statement?
I think so.
There's plenty of lenders out there. There's one on every corner. You've made that you made that statement earlier, so that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So we have to do that. We have to separate ourselves that way. Tell me, what is in your current lender environment? What is your biggest struggle?
Gosh, I can't. Honestly, I don't really think of any struggles right now. We have a pretty good flow for paperwork. They're very responsive on pre-approvals. What would be my biggest struggle? Maybe the understanding how to deal with the different personalities that come in. That we have one person who's a little bit rigid.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that. If I had to think of something, that's probably what it is.
And in our society today, we have a broad society, so we have to be good at that, right?
Yeah.
There's without really, that's a long story of we got a lot of marketing people that do that all day long, trying to figure out who's who.
Right.
We have to be all things to those people.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, from something that's not happening with your salespeople, how many loans would you say in a given month from your lenders come back to your salespeople without a solution for a loan? In other words, an approval. So your salespeople are now back in in the looking for a lender to make sure that that home closes. How often does that happen?
Maybe it's happened twice in 2 years.
Do you have a policy that somebody else is eliminating that?
That what?
Do you have a policy from your lenders when they can't do the transaction? What happens with that loan?
Well, typically what happens in those cases is they end up going to an outside lender.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually what happens. And then the outside lender is able to close. And so then we got, actually that, our preferred lender was able to get in with that particular a bank or whoever it was. I don't even remember at this point. But and become one of their loan officers as well.
So they had found.
If I can't beat them, join them. That's what she said.
So she found, bottom line is they found a solution through another lender outside of themselves,
Yeah.
something they brokered to.
Right.
So what we see in a lot of my builder communities, then we have relationships, Christine, that vary from very casual turn down loans that can't be done to formal partnerships with marketing and services agreements and legal documents and all that fun stuff. We have a plethora of that goes from one of that spectrum to the other. But in general, what I see in the industry is to watch people, the salespeople especially, get thrown in that loan arena, and I have upper management tell me that we just can't have our salespeople doing that. Is that the same situation that you have? You don't seem to experience that. What are you guys doing different?
No, on those couple of situations, I actually get involved and start problems. I butt in and kind of take over for the salespeople because I'd much rather they focus on keeping the community going, and then I just partner up with our lender directly, and we brainstorm together. How do we make this work?
Partnerships.
Yeah.
Partnerships. Well, listen, you've given me enough today that what I'd like to do with this is, first of all, I want to ask you, and thank you for your time, and ask you if you have any other questions of me before I give you some parting comments and leave you to your misery.
Yeah, here's a good question. So I have a few more communities coming up. If I were to give them to you, how much do you pay me?
That is against RESPA law, and that won't be happening, Christine.
Good answer.
You know, it's interesting. I see those kind of things still happening in our industry. There's no doubt that it goes on. And where I really see it is I see it with buyer's agents. Buyer's agents doing crazy things sometimes with the sales agent, especially when there's contingent offers that are being taken by the builder. Who's going to list that contingent home? Those kind of things. And it's something that we're always going to err on the side for your protection, as well as ours. We're going to err on the side of being compliant. That's just not something that's going to happen.
But it is true, because when we started getting back into building, some of the questions that came from, I'll say, maybe our management team, they wanted to know, well, what are the lenders going to give us? What do we get? And my response was, everything has changed since 2005.
Yeah.
It's very different now. So how would you articulate the differences?
Well, there's a legal and compliant way for us to share in marketing expenses that are a benefit to you, the builder. It's done very differently than it quote unquote used to be. But that's something that we have a whole division. Because we have a very resource-focused company that is purchase-driven and builder-driven through this whole separate division that's not a facade. It's a true division with a managing hierarchy that goes through that process to manage that. So we would bring in some of our professionals that know that better than I, better than you. They would do two things. One, evaluate it, tell us what kind of dollars and cents that makes sense of, depending on the communities, marketing things that you're willing to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and make sure that it's compliant, number one, to protect you and us.
Good.
Is that something you're interested in?
I would be interested in that.
Okay. What I'd like to do with that then is I'll add that to my list, and I'm going to go back, get with my team, make sure that we have all of your questions that you asked today, and I'd like to bring back a solution to some of those questions that you had, which will include that, and we'll get together and see what we can do with that. Are you available next week?
I am.
Thursday, 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Work
I
for
have
you.
a 10.
You have a 10. I'll take the 10. Thanks, Christine.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
You're welcome.
What do you think of Jed?
I thought Jed did a very nice job, good eye contact. I liked your body language, attention. You were right involved and very engaged. Good questions. You listened well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I listen well sometimes.
Well, in this arena, I thought you did a good job.
Thank you.
I like Jed's confidence,
Yeah.
and I like your answers, Jed.
I think you turned that off.
One thing I like to say when I'm talking about the strategic alliance, Al Miller, who's in charge of that, who's part of our builder group, came from Citicorp in charge of global strategic alliance partnerships. I love to say that because he's got years of putting these partnerships together, and we get access to that. So I like to drop that to a builder when I'm talking to him because it's impressive. We're so lucky to have him on board and utilize his skills. So that's one thing I would add to your spiel. I think you did a great job. How about you, Adam?
Great. We should have a microphone with them all.
Wait.
No, that would be very good. Very good.
Well, I think they just gave me the 5-minute sign, and now it's probably 4. I don't know if we're going to have time. Will, do you want to get up and try it real quick? Okay. We're going to try and sneak
Okay.
one in. We're always late. Last year, we had people fighting to do this. It was great.
So in Idaho, if I showed up like this, I wouldn't even get the appointment.
Because you're overdressed?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Way overdressed. I gotta have jeans on, some stains on it, some stains on my, yeah. So.
I
that's how it's gonna be in
understand.
Idaho. Okay, you can hear, I hate microphones. Okay.
I know.
How are you? Thanks
Hi.
for joining me today. Just the other day I've heard your name all over the place, and then I talked to Charlene, and she said I had to get to know you. So that's why I called you up and set up this appointment so I can get to know you a little bit better.
Great.
And in the meantime, I went out to a couple of your communities and looked at your houses, and you built a great house. And I noticed that you're in 7 states, and you got about 25 communities. Are those all spread out in the 7 states?
Nationwide, yes.
Holy cow! Wow. Okay. So how do you manage all that?
Oh, I don't.
You know? Okay.
I only manage California.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How did you get in the business? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in real estate since 2003 in the resale world, and then decided with all the foreclosures and short sales, I didn't want to do that anymore. So have gone back into home building on the new home sales side, which I did a lot of as resale. But prior to that, I did office management for engineering companies. And I've been coming to Sacramento my whole life. My grandma lived in Fair Oaks, and I remember driving to Folsom Lake when it was actually a drive, and there was nothing out there. It's not like that anymore.
Oh wow. So born and raised in California?
Born in Texas,
Oh, okay. And then
raised in the Bay Area, and mostly here.
Raiders
Yeah.
fan, Niners fan?
Not really.
Not a sports fan at all?
I like the whole social thing.
Yeah.
I don't care what's on, if it's
Okay.
basketball or, yeah. Give me snacks and drinks and I'm fine.
Right on. Any kids?
But yeah, we have 4
You have
kids.
4 kids?
Mhm.
Wow.
Granddaughter, 1 more on the way.
Oh wow. Right on. And your husband's Jeff?
My husband is Jeff.
And Shirley told me that he got inducted into some Hall of Fame?
Yes, California Housing Foundation,
Oh wow.
which is the charitable arm of the California Building Industry Association. It's a pretty big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Wow, yeah, I was just with somebody the other day, and they were inducted into the Car Wash Hall of Fame. Had no idea there was such a thing.
What is that? I know. What is that?
This guy's a legend. He knows if he puts his hand on a car wash, he makes a ton of money,
Oh.
and he's god to car washes. And he happens to live in Boise, Idaho.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. So,
But don't
anyway.
tell Jeff that story because then he'll think he's the god of home building.
Well, cool. Well, I wanted to sit down with you, kind of get to know you a little bit better. Like I said, I want to get to know you a little bit better and ask you a couple questions, if you don't mind. And I'm going to be taking some notes as well because I have a terrible memory.
So do I.
So if that's okay with you.
Yeah, no
Right
problem.
on. So I noticed that you have a couple preferred lenders, and that's great because I figured with the type of volume that you're doing, you better have some type of strategic partnership.
Yes.
So tell me, what do you like about them? What are they doing for you that you really, really, really like?
They're closing deals.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting loans done and closing people on time.
Okay. What about the ones that they aren't closing? Are you aware of any of them that aren't closing, or?
Yeah, just a couple. And, I can't say that really it had much to do with their efforts. It really had more to do with the buyer themselves and,
Okay.
when they go out and, well, maybe it did have to do with the lender.
Okay.
Going and buying a new car before you're supposed to close kind of messes up your credit score a little.
Well, we actually have
Debt to income,
We actually
yeah.
have 10 commandments that we have our clients actually recite before they leave our office. I'll send you a copy of that.
Okay.
And you can put it in your sales office for them because it's kind of funny when they recite. They think it's funny, but usually they're the ones that break those rules.
Those are the rules,
Yeah.
okay.
So one of them is don't buy a car, you'll be living in it, and they usually buy a new car. So yeah.
That's good.
What other besides that? I mean, they're closing loans. What other things do you that you like that they're doing for you?
I like the involvement with the sales office and the sales team. I mean, we've built a very solid team, very cohesive. They greet home buyers just like our agents do.
So are they actively involved in your sales meetings and coaching and stuff like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, all that good stuff.
What are some of the things that you'd like to see them do more of that maybe you're not getting?
What would be better? What would be more stuff? I can't think of anything off the top of my head. One thing, let's see, one thing. Well, they don't bring in lunch often enough.
Okay. How often would you like lunch?
Every sales meeting would be good.
Okay. And that's once a week?
Yeah.
Is that, okay, once a week?
Yeah.
Is it in the afternoon, morning?
Mornings.
It's in the mornings? And I know
So we'd have to have lunch early.
lunch are like 10:30.
And then there's lots of dietary restraints. Constraints, some people are gluten-free, some people are no meat.
Well, I have a Jimmy. I still noticed there's a Jimmy John's right down the street.
What's a Jimmy John's?
You don't have Jimmy John's in Cal? You guys don't have Jimmy John's here?
No, what's Jimmy John's?
Oh.
Is that long?
All right,
Long
Subway.
John-
How about Subway?
Oh, yeah, we
Guess
have
have Subway.
Subway, yeah.
Sorry, we have Jimmy John's. So there's a Subway down the street. What I'll do is I'll send you a menu,
Oh.
and just send it to me, and I'll bring you lunch. How about that?
That'd be awesome.
Okay, great.
But are you going to sit in on our sales meeting too then?
If you'd like me to sit in your sales meetings, can I do that?
Might make them uncomfortable.
Well, how about I drop it off, say hi?
Okay, that would
that
work.
Okay, but I'd like to get in there one time. Would that be okay?
Probably,
Okay.
but I'd have to give some advance warning.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. What questions do you have for me?
Let's see. My question to you is, your pricing seems a little bit higher than some of the others I've checked out.
Who are the others that you're checking out? If it's who are the others you're checking out?
Well, does that change your answer?
No.
Okay, then what's your answer?
Well, the credit union that's kicking our butt right now, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to lie to you. They're kicking our butt. But I noticed that you're with Guild and Eagle Home Mortgage, and we're right there in with them, and they're doing a lot of your loans for you. And we're right there with them. Our pricing is pretty much close, maybe an eighth off. And our fees are maybe a couple $100 off. On one of your lenders, they're about $100 lower, and the other one's I think $50 lower. So depending on who you're comparing us with, credit union's kicking our butt. I can't say anything, but good luck in trying to get a hold of them and closing on time. So I guess it's up to you. I mean, if that quarter rate is really like something that you need, you're not going to close anything on time. Is that important that you close on time?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
probably way more important than a quarter point.
Yeah, and we usually address that with our clients up front, so it usually doesn't get to you guys anyways.
Tell me about your extended locks.
Excuse me. I just had this conversation, sorry. Our extended locks, we can go up to 6 months. And basically what they do is they put a 1% deposit down. And they put a 1% deposit down, and then about 30 days from the day that we close, not the day that the house is done, they can actually do a one-time buy down. Okay, so if the rates are better. Right now, rates aren't doing much, so we're kind of watching that. So I give them as that option. And most of the time, most of the clients will just say, hey, you know what, let's just, just kind of wait it out for a little bit. But if you see them jump, let's get that thing locked in. So I give them both the options.
Great.
So, yeah.
Good.
Anything else that you'd like to know about us at all?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Great. You have your phone on you. I saw you had it, right? What time in the next 2 days is a good time for us to meet? Because I would love to address some of these concerns that you have. And I think we have a really cool package that I'd like to share with you. And not only that, but you can come into our office and you can meet our team and see how the actual process goes and the team that's going to be taking care of your clients. When's a good time in the next 2 days that you can stop by?
Probably Thursday. Thursday seems to be the day.
Okay. Thursday's awesome. You want to pull out your phone real quick and tell me what time?
I turned it off.
You turn it off?
I turned it off for our meeting.
Oh, you did?
I did.
You want to turn it back on real quick? I'm serious. I do this. I do it. And they pull out, and I know how serious they are.
Yeah.
So
I'd be like, oh, I'll just write it. I can write it down.
okay.
All
Well, I'll
right.
send you an invite, and then I'll see you next Thursday at 10:30.
Great.
In my office. Awesome.
Okay.
Now, one of the other things I do ask, though, and I didn't want to ask you here, but I do ask, how involved do you want to be doing my job? Because there are some builders that want to do my job. The salespeople want to do my job, and that's not a good fit for me because they want a good faith and go over it, and they'll screw it up. And then I have to back them up. And a lot of the builders that I talk to, they don't want nothing to do with it, which is awesome. There's one particular builder that does, and I didn't even schedule a second meeting. I said, hey, great to meet you, and I walked off. That was it.
That's
So,
that's a very good point.
Yeah. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
When are you coming to Idaho?
I don't know.
You have to come up there.
I haven't
It
been
is
to Idaho since I was
booming.
like 10.
You know what? Here's my card. When you come to Idaho,
That doesn't look like you.
no, I'm on the back. So,
Oh, okay.
if you come to Idaho, please see me. It's an awesome
Awesome.
town.
Good.
And
What do
come
they
see
say
me.
about you in Idaho, Will?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Where
Just want to
there's
let
a
you
will,
know.
There's a way.
But it's because of my lovely wife there.
Oh, that's
She's
just
a
on
lot.
this card. Gotcha.
She's a lot smarter. Yeah.
Thank you, Will.
Thanks, Will. Nice to
I'm
meet you.
serious when you come to Idaho.
Okay. I have clients that actually moved to Idaho.
But I won't be wearing a suit next time.
No, jeans and
What do we think
yeah.
about Will?
I thought you did a very nice job, Will.
Stay up here.
Yeah, while we critique you. No, the point that you brought up just at the very end about do you want to do my job or you want me to do my job? Sorry about that. That's a really good point. But I thought your questions were engaging. You listened. I thought you did a good job. Nice sense of humor. Yeah.
Yeah, he brings a lot of comfortable humor, fun, and he's relaxed. I think that's the biggest thing I got. You're very relaxed when you're talking back and forth. You didn't seem nervous.
Well,
No.
I'm going to lose. The worst thing you say
Yeah.
is no,
Right.
right? And so with that mentality, when you go in, I mean, the worst thing they can do is say no, but you got to say no to me 5 times.
But a lot of people are afraid of no. And so for you to think that that's the worst.
I'm more afraid of not knowing what that answer could have been. So
Yeah.
it could have been a yes. I'd rather have you tell me no.
Quiet is the worst. On the rate question, I mean, my favorite thing, day in, day out, the rates change. I mean, you literally have to watch our rates for 30 days against another lender to know that we're not in the game, because they change at different times. That's my favorite comeback on that. You know, if I knew who you were shopping, I could tell you right away if we're in the game, but generally, most lenders are in the same game. That's my favorite response on rates.
I did appreciate the honesty. The credit union's kicking our butt right now, but I appreciated that.
We actually have that.
But you're not going to get it done.
Yeah.
The other piece about the extended lock, he was right on target, except it's a refundable fee to the closing cost. So, Adam, what do you think about Will?
I think he does a great job.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks.
He really right on. Yeah, you did good. So I want a big round of applause for our builders.
Thank you.